good evening, and welcome back. Thanks, Dad. I know that it hasn't been straightforward over the years, and I'm sure I haven't been the best son either. And I know that the work of a dad, that most of the things don't get mentioned, they don't get shown, they aren't acknowledged, and it's one of those things that is good if it isn't noticed in a way that by being there and providing, it shows that you're doing your job. You're doing great, because if there was a problem, I'm sure I'd notice. But the fact that there isn't anything shows that you're doing a good job. It's like Jocko Willink saying that he likes the fact that the worst thing his daughter mentions is slow Wi-Fi, or that his wife says, "Oh no, we got the tickets to a show, and it's the same time as a recital or a game that the children are playing at." It's like, well, good that those are the worst issues. It means that you're doing a good job. But in contrast to that, we have a few articles here today that run parallel or even perpendicular to that say, hey, so what are you on about? But before we get started, if you like the channel, then do subscribe, help us see the channel grow, share it around, direct links and all that. Show the YouTube algorithm something worth watching, and do comment with what you think of your father and the importance of fathers, seeing as Father's Day is the 16th of June today. It's in the early hours of that. And do share around, share your thoughts, and maybe just writing something down will help you to then articulate what you want to say about your father, and then send a message to him. But here we have a message that's 2 years old. I'll go through it briefly. Lena Dunham trashes Father's Day. You don't need a father. She took Twitter to say, "You don't need a father. So many families work so many ways, but if you have one, he better work." Yes, fathers are the archetype of father is the encouraging disciplinarian, according to Dr. Jordan B. Peterson. And that's definitely true, that the mother plays a maternal role, the father plays a paternal role. Nuclear families are important and have been the archetype for so long for a very good reason, that they play very different roles. Men and women will never be the same, and I think it's important that we realise that. And single parents play a very difficult role, and single fathers seem to be more successful than single mothers in terms of especially raising boys, that there's less sexual abuse, and stepfathers is a whole cacophony of its own. If you look at the statistics, whereas single fathers seem to do a better job, but maybe they're just more pragmatic at it. It sucks to only have a father if he's a harsh taskmaster, but that will put you instead for later life. So here we have the girl's creator apparently deleted her post. Well done, you've actually done the right thing. But we have a lovely tweet from Donald Trump Jr. saying, "It never ends. It would be great to have just one day without the unnecessary SGW commentary." Doubt there was a similar comment on Mother's Day. Yes, indeed. And surely that's then a similar thing in terms of International Men's Day. And Jess Phillips making a hoo-ha against Philip Davis. That's an obvious one. Ryan James Godersky saying, "People do need fathers your father seems to love and who has enriched your life. Why rob someone of that?" And that's in reference to her saying that her father taught her how to use a tampon that she said might be older than you. So, well done. Men are more pragmatic. They're not going to get caught up in the emotions, and they're just going to deal with what happens one step at a time. We may not be able to multitask, but we can do one thing. We can do it well. Stephen Molyneux retweeted this without comment, reply saying, "I had no father, mine was killed when I was 6, it destroyed my family, shout out Lena Dunham." To be honest, Lena Dunham had a great fathering, given the results. I'm sure his fathering didn't work. I don't want to see Lena Dunham in my feet any day on Father's Day. Okay, cool. She deleted a tweet and commented instead, "Happy joyous Sunday to all the dads, showing us how it's done, and all the mums who are being dads right now." You can't help but mention that. But anyway, moving on, we've got National Geographic saying the history of Father's Day. Enjoy Father's Day. Thank the women who spent 62 years campaigning for it. You can't have something good for men without mentioning the women's. Yeah, the men who were sacrificed in order to protect the women. Great job. She's saying that it began with Sonora Louise Smart Dodd 16 years old, her father became a widower and was left to raise daughter and her 5 younger brothers alone. In 1909, Dodd was listening to a Mother's Day sermon when she realised the need for a day to celebrate fathers, especially her own. Yes, men are normally passed up, and I wonder that men gave labour-saving devices to women before life-saving devices to men. And I'm talking about washing machines before ventilation for minors, for example. Yes, I am. But that's just a history lesson if you wish to read it. But the main thing here, I thought, was a bit of a joke. Toxic masculinity's Father's Day wish list. Yes, and if we get down, we see a man cave. The daughter said man cave will have a sign, no girls allowed schooled on the door. Why is that? Okay, it doesn't matter. The point saying that, yes, that the men will pay for the entire house and then want some room to their own, that they feel relegated to their own room. It isn't king of the castle anymore. It's basically saying, yes, I will give everything to you, but can I have one little space, which I will call my man cave, of which I can actually live like an individual. I can actually be proud of who I am, and I can do my own thing. No, that's toxic masculinity. You can't be proud of who you are. No, you can't have your own space. No, that's toxic. And then we say a gun, picture of a gun, and when you give them to me, I want you to make blam blam sounds. Yes, I want to be able to protect the family, whether that's from people or from animals. I want to invoke my warrior spirit and be able to prevent attacks and counter them if they were to take place. But apparently that's also toxic masculinity, defending your family. Cat called whistle with boys will be boys and blazoned on it. Yes, saying boys will be boys says that if a guy does something bad, that's men being men. Whereas if a woman does something bad, that's hormones. So that's something that is at a particular time, and it isn't her fault. It's the hormones that are affecting her, not an innate characteristic of her sex. It says, I punch a barrel Hillary Clinton's face on it. Whenever I punch it, God bless America plays, which is obviously just a political stunt meant to child support, or in this case, aggravation towards saying, hey, this was the worst presidential candidate we ever had, and I dislike her due to her history, not because she is a woman. And there are other women, maybe like Tulsi Gabbard, who I would consider supporting, and maybe in the UK we've had Margaret Thatcher. It's odd, isn't it, that then the main female leader is a right winger. Right. Almost if you treat everybody equally, then women can actually do a good job, and you don't need to say men are superior, we must drag them down in order to bring women up. And men are leaving corporate America. Independent Man did a good video on that. I'll leave a link in the description. And it just pains me to say that there are articles that just try to drag men down and fathers down. But I wouldn't want that to stop you from celebrating Father's Day, enjoying the fact that your father was around, if he's around. Given thanks and praise, as the Bible of biblical teachings put it, and to say thanks, appreciate what you have. It's only one day a year. It's like a birthday. It's like a wedding. It's not as if you could go to someone else's birthday party and say, oh, it's happy birthday, but hey, someone else has a birthday some other time. Why are we focused on you? Or, oh, this person's getting married, so let's pick a completely different topic. Why are we focusing on them? So this is their birthday. This is their one day a year, and a year is 365 and a quarter days long. 0.24. It's quite a long time. So why can we have this one day where we say, hey, fathers are actually doing a great job? And of course, if you look at single mothers in America, particularly in the black community, it leads to increased crime, decreased school attendance, and increased deviant behaviour. That it is very important to have a strong male role model in the home, and masculinity has had a great attack on it recently over the past few years. And I know Dr. Kirk Peterson is kind of the non-biological father to a lot of men, to try and say, hey, that it isn't so bad to actually want to get meaning and take responsibility, as Jocko Willink would say, and push forward. And I do like the fact, on the other side, that Jocko Willink isn't being taken down by people so much, because he is a force to be reckoned with, and he is an amazing man. And you can't smear him that easily, because he is so so sure of himself, such a kind soul, and he has proven himself time and time again with Bruiser and the Delta team in the Battle of Ramadi. He's an amazing fella, and I do recommend you listen to his podcast. I'll put a link in the description of my favourite podcast player, player.fm, with a link to his podcasts. And also do check out his books, his children's books as well, children's podcast as well. He is a great man. And I don't want these essentially smear articles for just men to put a damper on Father's Day, because although these are prevalent and there are many to choose from, it isn't immediately obvious, and most people aren't taken by this. And I think the tide is turning in terms of the culture war to say that it isn't instinctively bad to be a man, and toxic masculinity is a false term, evidently, considering toxic femininity doesn't exist. And it's just basically to say toxic masculinity is masculinity. And it's good to be a man. Be proud of it. Be proud of your father. It's not easy, but what is it? It takes testicles to be a dad, but balls to be a father. That's what they say. And I like that. And it's good. And if you're a good father, then maybe you're not appreciated because you're doing the right things and people don't realise because nothing's going wrong because you're doing such a good job. But I'm going to make another video particularly about gratitude toward Father's Day. And I hope you enjoy that. But that's it for now. Just a short one. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.